Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and welcome back to another episode of... I'm getting better at musing myself while I'm working on the behind the scenes of the streams themselves, because I'm normally on display now at the end because there's some new formations. Maybe not so much on the unmusing parts, that verdict is still out. But anyways, not to worry. So, the theme for this week seems to continue and make itself clear. The theme, I guess, of shows of which we are vaguely familiar with the creators, or they're somewhat, present for the stream, maybe, or may not be. And they happen to, their series happen to have made a return after some time. And yeah, because it has been quite a while since the last episode of Eurovision Pops, actually. 10 months, in fact, according to YouTube. So, yeah, it's been 10 months since we last had anything to do with these characters. So yeah, I do a little bit of a reminder of myself based on how Conquest of Rothin and Alina's birthday went, particularly Alina's birthday, because I wanted to lead into this. Yeah, now you're speaking my other language. Yes, and and mine, quite frankly. No, but in any case, yeah, it's Eurovision Pops is definitely a very interesting series. Probably one of my favorite pop series that have come out of this franchise, and definitely another one of those that signifies the evolution of the creator in question. Not to say that we're exempt from the usual Johnny cliches that we have come to expect. We've definitely we've already had things to do with princesses, or rather mostly princes. It ended up being for Alina's birthday. Alina herself was barely involved in the plot, and it happened to focus mostly on Sofia, which my understanding is this episode will also, on account of us looking at Sofia's first date, which is a direct result of the events of last time. And it just so happens that Eurovision Pops came back on the same time that this. Well, I mean, I say around the same time, reviewing it on the same day that somebody mentioned to me that the welding teacher that I work with mentioned that that how basically in junior Eurovision they try to they get somebody they supposedly get children who are able to speak English and or French in order to I guess to incentivize votes, or I guess to tally the votes. I think it ended up being. And then what they did in Spain at one point was they actually used Lucho, which is their name of a puppet from Los Lunis. In fact, it's one of the the mascots. It's essentially like the equivalent of using Kermit the Frog for instead of instead of a bilingual child. That's what it ended up being. He didn't mention this happened in 2004. I thought this was a recent event. I just looked it up on YouTube, and the only results for Eurovision Lucho happened to be from 2004. So I don't know. Maybe they preserved something 21 years ago versus 1 year ago. I don't know. One of those things, I suppose. But yeah, he was trying to make the point that isn't it sad they couldn't find a bilingual child around that time? It's like yeah, definitely. What a shame. I guess 2004. I was 3 years away from being the ideal Eurovision Junior spokesperson, aside from never watching the competition. But there you go. Yeah, what if this is going to go back to some point to the competition, because we've barely addressed that aspect of the characters based on everything that's been going on. It doesn't look like we're going to today either, but I'm sure that it will come into play sometime later. What I'm hoping will come into play as well, actually, is in between last episode and this one, is when Johnny had the whole Gacha Vision submissions thing going on, and that's why and that's why we made a bunch of of different songs. Well, I was going to make up different songs, but actually we kind of like sampled them and like said, okay, here's some candidates for, these positions or something. He did like a bit of an internal competition. So it wouldn't be just Eli songs and the same like 3 known Eli songs at the time at that. So I'm not sure if any of those will feature here. But maybe sometime in the future. It depends if they're relevant to a date with a prince who promised to tour Sofia around his kingdom, which is exciting because the kingdom seemed to be relatively well explained verbally. Let's see what we do with it in terms of showing rather than telling. So with that in mind, I guess without further ado, on with the review. Hey, Sophia, you packed your bags for your week in Baywedel with Thomas? Which, it's a week. It's a week long. Wow, that is quite the date experience. I guess royalty pull out all the stocks. There you go. Yeah, and I'm going to teleport to the airport. I mean, I guess because obviously he doesn't know that that she has teleporting powers, so it wouldn't make sense if he's arranged her flight to have her, have her just teleport directly to Baywedel. Yeah. So I get she's doing it to cover the ruse, and probably because he paid for a ticket or something. Oh, okay. Or a private jet. That works too. He's going to take me to his kingdom on a private jet. Okay. Okay. By the way, this is the character that, absolutely loves royalty. So, she's living the high life at this point, which either means that this is going to be the best day of her life or it's going to come crashing down. As a story, it can go in different ways. Yeah. All right, then. When is your flight taking off? I guess whenever they want, really, because with private jets, you kind of, you wait for the passenger, not the other way around, OMG, I'm gonna be late. You'll only be late if you take if you only take a few seconds to teleport, and I assume you would have to, I guess, pretend to go through customs and all that. So maybe a little bit longer, to be fair. Don't worry, Sophia. Thomas is very patient, and that, of course, is Alina, who is allies with Thomas's kingdom. So she kind of then knows a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, wish me luck, girls. Have fun. Celeste, can you put me to the airport? Ah, there we go. There's Celeste. Celeste mentioned again. Not arriving 3 hours before your flight takes off is a crime. Ah, my goodness. You really are my dad. Sure, teleporting now. Oh, okay. 2 things about that. One, the wiggle transitions, I guess. That's a new one. But also, well, no, 3 things, in fact. The second thing is that clearly, well, actually, I do remember that Eli shared that teleport sound effect because I also asked if I could have it. Not that I have used it yet, but it's definitely somewhere in my files, definitely. So I guess Johnny also got it. So, that find from Eli was, again, crucial to the franchise. Fantastic. But third thing, I guess she never mentioned, obviously, that she was a superhero. So what's her excuse now for teleporting right in front of the prince, who presumably is not supposed to know about her identity? Need to get a good seat at the gate. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Inversely, if you don't go to the gate 3 hours early, you don't need a good seat because you're not there for long enough for it to matter. That's the other way, actually. Anyways, and also sometimes they don't even tell you the gate until like 1 hour in, depending on which airports you're at. So sometimes it's not even possible to begin with. Anyways, oh, my fair maiden, I have been patiently waiting for you, and choose to not question you materializing in front of me rather than walking in like anyone else at this airport. Okay. You need to consider bathroom breaks and snackies before the flight, most of which would take place before you go to the gates. Not to say you can't take bathroom breaks at a gate, but, the airports have you covered there, just saying. In fact, they'll often provide the snacks for you before the gates. Greetings, Your Highness. I was just so worried I was going to miss the flight, and I'm really nervous about our date. The classic thing of, you get there to the point where just suddenly you're nervous. That makes sense. Especially for her, given how starstruck she is about the whole ordeal. That's one thing I'm guessing for her. She's going to need to learn to be casual about this because, obviously, they're trying to... they're trying to, what was I going to say? They're obviously trying to meet each other on equal... Well, I don't say on equal grounds necessarily. Maybe not quite equal grounds, given the whole private jet thing, I guess. I mean, I doubt very much that that Johnny knows much about the plot of 50 Shades, but this is a little bit reminiscent of the plot of 50 Shades. The airport canonically looks like a Gacha high school. Yeah, of course. I mean, to be honest, what I would have done here potentially is, well, actually, hold on. There is an airport background in Gacha. It just happens to be one of those flight terminal bits, so it's not at the which actually, to be fair, could pass as an airport gate. Not gonna lie, which would be obviously if he's waiting for it here, he's waiting for at the gate or by the plane. By the plane is more complicated, but there is a gate-ish background that probably would have been good. Okay, I like I said, bless you, my son. It sounds like Jesus talking to me now, but fair enough. What if we don't click? Well, quite simple. I'm kidding. It just hard cuts there to falling out the jets. No, I'm kidding. All right, moving on. We can still remain friends, for at the base of a relationship is friendship. Or at least a very good one, yes. A base of a good relationship is a friendship. That's true. Not always the case, unfortunately. Writing stuff that you're just picturing her in the background because canonically a ghost girl, that's her school. Well, yeah. I mean, it's most people's school to begin with. In fact, actually, this is this I'm pretty sure is also the background I used in Mutant Girl Season 1. That's where the not the Romeo and Juliet poster, the Midsummer Night's Dream poster was. Of course, I said deliberately it wasn't Romeo and Juliet in the series. Anyway, that was where the Midsummer Night's Dream poster was. I think it was the first piece of custom art that made it into the show rather than just the fan art. We planned today. To start, I planned just a relaxing day to get used to the palace. And tomorrow I shall take you into the heart of our capital city. I like this music, by the way. This is the kind of thing that I imagine would be the soundtrack for a Pixar montage of these two dating in some in some traditional European country of some kind. I'm picturing that. I mean, I guess because I've seen Luca, so I guess that's what I'm kind of thinking of that. But yeah, these two talking in a background. They don't even go here. Oh, good grief. Maybe the prince. Actually, no, he doesn't. And you can tour the markets, museums, and workshops. I mean, you're meant to tour this stuff together, right? It's a date. You're meant to do the same things. Anyway. Yeah, then the day after, I have planned a private cruise around the sea. Maybe even catch a glance of a dolphin or two. Yeah, good luck with that. When you actively go looking for dolphins, they never show up. They always surprise you. That's what I've found in terms of dolphins. Um, but also, what I think about this, I'm guessing it's good that they've kind of like these plans here, basically. However, if for those of you who have seen SpongeBob, the best day ever episode, I'm pretty sure that's what it was called in English. Where he had this whole he had a whole song about like this about everything that he was planning to do today, like all of that day, all of his favorite things, and one by one, like every single one of them ended up, like not occurring the way that he wanted. Um, which makes me think, that the prince declaring these things right now may end up going in the same direction because otherwise we could just see these things happen. The alternative would be that Johnny is going to say, okay, they're going to do these things, and then it's going to hard cut to it's like, wow, the palace was so amazing. Thank you for showing me around. This was a great day at the capital city. My goodness, we saw so many dolphins today. And I am trusting Johnny that that's not how this episode is going to go. We're not just going to declare stuff that's going to happen, and then the audience doesn't get to see it. I'm trusting that we're going the SpongeBob route potentially, and we're not going to, end up skipping over the good stuff. Let's see. Let's see. Trying to get the big promotion last month. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. There is also there's also an Employee of the Month song from SpongeBob, which I don't know what episode it's from, but it was on the album that I got as a kid. So I don't know, somewhere. That was like a half in Spanish, half in English album, and that was the song where it changed. So for years, the only time I ever heard English SpongeBob was the Campfire song and the Krusty Krab song, which in the series themselves didn't get translated for some reason. I guess because CAMPFIRESONG song didn't work in with the visuals. But yeah, it was those two songs and that album. That was my English SpongeBob experience for a number of years. Anyway, someone stop trusting Johnny. Well, again, like I told Aiden with Witch Academy, I can't sign off on that until I see it. Which, granted, is not a flattering comparison based on what happened and what we knew was going to happen. But in the spirit of fairness, we'll see. Oh, interesting. I don't know. Try Pluto TV. They have a whole channel rated to SpongeBob, and maybe I think there's a way to play them in order. If sometimes Pluto TV has like one option for like playing those as they're just live episodes they air, what they choose in. Or you can actually choose like the players yourself. It depends. I don't know. And they'll look out for me. The Witch Academy thing. Well, actually, it did sort of work out. Half and half. Because Aiden ended up predicting something that would have been like, much worse than what we did find. It wasn't as bad as Aiden was thinking it would be. But it was still bad, though. Yeah. Okay. OMG, this kingdom is amazing. Again, she just arrived from the airport. She's obviously had to, cover some ground, in some way, potentially, via the royal Uber. But so she's seen a little bit of it. Okay. All right. We'll see how everyone's doing before Reigns Beyond. We're doing fine so far, actually. We're kind of like building up to what I think is meant to be like the main part of the episode, and hopefully we're not going to cut away from said main part. So yeah, things are looking up for the time being. I can fix this. You will not do tell and not show. You will show us these scenes, or you become my next test subject. I feel like Felix, honestly, as well. Yeah. Okay, let's not do that. Thanks. I'm honored that you think so. Oh wait, thanks. I'm honored that you think so. Wrong royal voice. Is there anything special about your kingdom and Rothin I should know about? Oh yeah, I forget like the relation between Rothin and I forgot the name of this kingdom now. Dang it! It was like the Bay Weedle, yeah, or Bay Vadel or whatever. How do you pronounce it? Ah, we've been trading goods for almost as long as we've existed as countries. Oh yeah, Rothin is Alina's kingdom, I think. So yeah. Oh wait, actually, wait, maybe not, because I mean, all the Eurovision pops like from different, existing nations, if I remember correctly. Kind of like diminish the whole Eurovision thing if they turn out to be from separate. Anyway. And though relievingly we're not participating in one right now, we are allies in war. So I've got like a treaty going on, basically. Yeah, makes sense. That's so cool. Okay, maybe don't be too sad about the war parts. maybe not that as the last sentence, but in general, I agree that it's the other stuff is cool. Johnny still has camera angles problems. I mean, that's to some extent, because I would say that this background would probably be better served if it's if it was slightly zoomed in just on account of not seeing the solid blue in the back there, because I mean, if the implication was they're in the capital city, right? And usually the castles or the royal palaces would be somewhere within the capital city. So you'd be surrounded by buildings and other stuff and whatnot, rather than just there's a castle on the hill, as the story goes. Like that's that kind of castle, basically. Not really what we're going with here necessarily. So yeah, probably would have been good to like cover that up potentially. Yeah. Like honestly, if it were me, I would probably if I were editing this, I would have most likely kept the angle the same right here, but I would just like trimmed the background and then put something else behind it, maybe like different buildings and such, potentially something moving to some degree. But yeah, like for like in the case of Johnny, I would definitely recommend the zoom in method. Yeah. Well, fairy tale book, yeah, pretty much. All we need is a dwarf and a woodblock. Yeah. And have a green line around the castle? That is a good question, but I have no idea. That's probably just based on, I don't know, whatever the original artist was thinking. I don't know. Maybe this is how the original artist worked around the outline removal problem we talked about before with some of the tweening videos we've seen recently. I don't know. This is a bit McCrancy, so you're more terrifying. So it's fun to. Oh well, I mean, yeah. All right. Anyway, how about you? What's something unique or I've got those. What's something unique or fascinating about the nation you abide in? I've been doing too many characters with that voice recently, especially Orchid. Anyway. Well, in terms of Eurovision, there it is right there. Only Italy gave us 7 points in our only appearance. I believe, just for the record, if I recall correctly, she's from Morocco. So yeah, again, she was like the backdoor pilot, essentially. In go to go back to what I was saying on Walking Wednesday today. She is the one who in this current party of four that they've got is the one who seems to take the most the main character-ish spotlight at the moment, given the origin of Eurovision pops and also and also given that Alina's birthday was mostly focused around her instead of Alina herself. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with at the moment. The exception, of course, would be because Talia is the one that opened up Eurovision pops in episode 1, but obviously her limelight was short-lived, quite literally. So I mean, yeah, back to Sofia basically. Oh hey, well there you go, perfect. It's a relevant example. And the liver symbolizes love in Morocco, or is that the liver or the liver? As in, like, because there's a bird that's called the liver, which is also the symbol of Liverpool, even though it's pronounced Liverpool, not Liverpool. So that might be depending on what she means, basically. I think maybe like because I think the idea is like the liver because instead of like the heart symbolizing it. So I mean, yeah, fair enough. Okay, I did see that. I did heart that comment of the yeah, like absolutely. Oh well. Oh my goodness, I know my audience. That indeed is fascinating. I'm sure your country has done better than mine since Greece participated more than Morocco. Wait, oh, so are the kingdoms? I might have just forgotten this after not watching Eurovision Pots for some time. Again, it's been 10 months, are the kingdoms? This is a question for Johnny if he shows up later or is watching the VOD or something. Are the kingdoms like inside of existing countries, and that's like the excuse why Alina is the princess of Rothin, and Rothin just happens to be like inside because normally kingdoms, are like separate, like independent nations. That's usually what the idea is. I mean, even the United Kingdom, which kind of serves as both basically, because obviously it's several kingdoms united, but they count as separate nations to each other. So, I mean, that's usually what you would end up with. Not to say that that's out of the question. I mean, I don't actually know how the UK deals with participating in Eurovision if they send separate candidates all together. I actually don't know. All right then. Okay, I'll just be okay. Bye for now. All right. Well, yes, Greece did win in 2005 with Helena Paparizou, and apparently Spain, I think it won the junior version the previous year because that's the year that Lucha was around. I guess going back to the example I gave before, maybe Lucha was the good luck charm that they needed after all, and that's why they didn't go with a bilingual child. I don't know. So, can I have a tour of the palace? That was the idea that he suggested for today, so yes, that's the whole point. You know what? She's nervous. I'll give her some leeway. I'll cut her some slack. She's nervous. Of course, I'll take you to your room. I wonder how many how many girls like he has he has like done this like date routine with, because he seemed to know very like he seemed to know immediately like the whole plan structure, or seemed to be like it to be a bit more relaxed. I mean, just not to say that's a problem necessarily, but yeah, I'm just wondering what the servants in the castle are going to going to think at this point. And they're going to be like, oh yes, okay, we've had a few of the prince's suitors before. They're going to like, oh, this is a first for everyone. I wonder. Interesting last name. I've heard it before. I never heard it before. It's pretty. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. I've heard a lot of like Greek last names that start with Papa, actually. I wonder if I have to look into like what that actually means. But yeah. Anyway, 10 minutes later. This is where all the treasures of Bayvedel are stored. Inside of a sarcophagus. I mean, okay, sure, why not? That they were in fact used to store, treasure alongside the bodies that they were used. So yeah, okay, all right then. Surprised we're going with an Egyptian theme rather than a Greek one, but I mean, sure, all right. Also a famous pantheon, I suppose. They're so pretty. I haven't opened the sarcophagus yet. Imagine if he said that. And just like, oh, yep, okay, sorry. You're right. I'm glad you like it. And next I will show you the dining room. By the way, very bold move to show essentially a stranger you met at a ball where your kingdom's treasures are as a first move. I doubt that she would do anything. Like, I'm not saying the Prince of Bad judge of character or anything, but, You don't know this lady well enough. Just saying. Also, normally the Africans have like a Department of Treasury or something that that would be in charge of. Okay. Well, I think I know what the first thing to address in this room is going to be. So, I see what Johnny was trying to do. I understand what he was trying to do. And again, going back to my example of why I suggested that the castle be zoomed in rather than then remove the background is because I know that Johnny has not played around with chroma key. Or potentially, editing stuff in art programs. Which, yeah. That being said, let us address the hyper-real elephant in the room. Hyper-real elephant. Absolutely. So, I know what he was trying to do because he wants to show off Moroccan dishes. Which, by the way, I'm of two minds about like preparing dishes from someone's home country when they're visiting your own. On one hand, it makes them feel at home and comfortable, and I understand that. On the other, it's actually somewhat uncommon for like most tourists to like want to check out the local cuisine whenever they travel to like a new given location or something. Like not saying that that's the case here because obviously you shouldn't know, but yeah, like a lot of the time when you have somebody like say again, take the UK for example, there's all this the full English breakfast is such a known thing that in most hotels they will be able to serve that to you if you ask them for it, and a lot of people do. So it's one thing to be like, okay, well, he could have taken this chance to show off some of some Greek food that he wanted maybe for her to try. Maybe had the Moroccan food potentially in reserve if she wasn't particularly happy with it. So again, I'm of two minds. I can understand both perspectives in that matter. So again, I get what Johnny was trying to do. It's also unfortunate that instead of using one image, I personally would have used several here. Even if you couldn't find one that had a background with that was removed, I would say okay, at least like a small one, you could actually either like find one that's like zoomed in the actual image and put them in rather so you have like several scattered around because those are falling off the table currently because that table does not support them. Also, I'm wondering what's the deal with the the big table in the background. I forgot the name of that one actually. I know it has like a very specific name in Japanese. Why do we have two settings here for dining and one of them being the most elevated one? You would think the prince would go to that one rather than, and especially be scaled up like that because that's meant to be like on the floor. So as is Bayvidal known for being a kingdom of giants? Because that's also another question I have. Here's a suggestion I have actually. Another way to cover this idea. And quite uncharacteristically for me, it actually has to do with AI. I'm not saying you should use AI generated like your food. Not that. What I mean to say is actually on Free Pick at the moment. There's one of the features that they offer is that if you go into, I'm not sure if this is a premium feature or not actually. Kotatsu, thank you. I forgot the name. Yeah. That just so on Free Pick, not sure if this is a premium feature or not, but if it is, then disregard this. But if you look up, images of, if you like the particular food that you want to find or any image for that matter, and you want to remove the backgrounds, what you can do is you can click on the image and there's an edit feature on there. If you go into the edit section of Free Pick, you can actually scroll down a bit and you can find the remove background feature. It's not perfect. Sometimes it does bug out, actually. Well, I mean, Johnny knows about, bug out, haha, catchphrase. No, but but more often than not, especially if like the background is if it's a vector image, which is the type of image that Gacha deals with, more often than not, it will work the way that you want it to. So if you find a vector image of a Moroccan dish or whatever you want in the future, Johnny, you can actually remove the backgrounds, and then you can have transparent images and put those onto the table there. And that's how that's how I would have handled this situation if I didn't know about chroma key or art programs and such. Okay, the prop table is either white, you can at least try to blend it. That's true. That's true. You can change the color of that prop table to white, and that would have worked. Because, I mean, the colors of the chairs have also changed. I'm surprised that those aren't consistent, given that they would have probably been purchased from the same place in some, uniform fashion. Unless the prince here is going with the whole, blue, pink equals boy and girl motif, I suppose. It depends. And now that I've mentioned blue as a motif for the prince, I've actually realized that he's still wearing his ball gown outfit, which I would have thought he would have changed out of, because that essentially means that he either showed up to the ball in his casual clothes, or his date outfit is identical to the one he wore to Alina's birthday party. A lot to analyze in this one image, actually. There was so much to break down. My goodness. Just an orange chair, thank you. Yeah, I guess. I mean, to be honest, being gender fluid, I imagine you would like your chair to change color. You have a mood ring chair, basically. Anyway, isn't the blue chair? I'll take everything back. You know what? There. Let's see what happens. Oh, you had them make some of my favorite food at home? How did he know? I mean, I guess I'm hoping that was a coincidence that, and he didn't just, like, stalk her social media or something. Yes, I figured you would feel comfortable at home and I would be able to learn your culture. I mean, I'm not sure if you prepared your food necessarily. I mean, this is a good thing. By the way, what I would have done in this situation is, I think maybe like presenting like the Greek food would have been potentially a little bit better because she was here to learn about his culture. However, they of course have a second date potentially, or second date week if that's what they do, and he go visit her. Or maybe not. Maybe the exchange will be, Moroccan food in Greece and Greek food in Morocco. Maybe that's what they're going to do. I can see both. That's so sweet of you, Thomas. First name basis now, no longer Your Majesty. It's working. So tell me, what made you love royalty? Oh, hey, Johnny, you're here. You just missed like a massive breakdown of the previous image. So yeah, I suggest checking out the VOD of that part later if you have the time. I joined the cause of the Aries flag police sunset chair. I want to Google to see if it exists. Yeah, who knows? It probably does. Yeah, there's probably someone selling it right now, to be honest. Also, yeah, we didn't get the reverse. You did sit in the pink chair, but there you go. Oh, he isn't even royalty. I don't think we've seen him wear a crown, so you know. Oh, happy belated birthday. Fair enough. Well, it made me got my love of royalty from watching the Disney princess movies with my dad. Yeah, that tracks. That tracks, honestly. That's where I think most people's love of royalty, comes from, if at a young age. I can see that entirely. He does have a bit of a Prince Eric vibe to him now that I think about it, actually, given in that outfit. Anyway. He sadly passed away when I was 5 years old. Oh, hey, I mean, that's, first of all, I'm surprised you retained your memories from that point, actually. Which, I mean, again, I guess, along with those core memories being at that point, yeah, makes sense. Could I join the stream? Yes, go ahead. All right, 1 second. I think you're much further up in my DMs than you usually are, because you were there for ballet pops. No airways chair with those blankets there, just the airways. Well, yeah. I feel like making blankets in any sort of flag that you want is like, much easier in comparison. Super easy, better inconvenience. You know what I mean? Okay, Johnny's here.
Oh my gosh. Like literally in the cake I know this came out on my birthday, but literally I was thinking, oh my gosh, when is he gonna review it? And then I because I knowing my subscribers, they would recommend this to you.
Josh
Very
did.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
So
saw it at the end of yesterday's review. He was like, "Hey, you're gonna watch? I going to watch Tree Pop season finale and Eurovision Pop soon." It's like, there's a new Eurovision Pops. I missed that. So that was
yeah,
like
because
right
I
after I
was
cut the stream. I was like, "Oh well, I know what I'm doing tomorrow." Ferb.
yeah, because
Hmm.
literally I was trying to think of something for you to review on my actual birthday.
Oh, I see. I was doing another
And
Prince video on the day, I
unfortunately,
think.
with work and the fact that I am trying to find other hobbies, yeah, I literally that this episode was literally last minute. So
I mean, to be fair, you were on time. In that matter, I wasn't. Not that I was
yeah,
aware of this plan, but still. I'm sorry to hear about your loss.
Mama never remarried. She knew she couldn't find a husband who had the same love for me as him.
That is, a very frequent concern with widowed parents. Actually, that they worry about somebody, how the kids are going to react to a new partner, and vice versa as well.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it is also a very a good red flag to look out for if people don't interact well with the kids. No, guys, as long as you don't have a thing like Caitlyn in My Street, where as soon as your dad like thinks of dating somebody else, that you set the entire room on fire. That did happen in My Street at one point. It was part of a flashback. Anyway. Oh, also, yeah, Trooper was not happening. She never apologized to Ghosty, so yeah, the deal's still off on that matter. She is crediting Ghosty now. Apparently, she was forced to by Eli. Good to know that the one person she actually respects is able to still sway her over rather than us. But that's another matter. Hmm. I know he meant a lot to you, and by know I mean assume based on what you just told me. And I also know he's smiling down on us.
Thanks for understanding, Your Highness.
Oh, we're back to Your Highness. We were on first name terms a second ago when the food came out.
Yeah, I literally. Yeah, it was just. Now, since they're
power.
a couple, and let's just say it's that traditional me not having the non-royals be okay, or rather having the royals be okay with first name, like not titles, but I know it's confusing.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure out like what you're trying to say in that sentence. I feel like there was like a reboot that happened somewhere during the middle of that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. What I was saying was that yeah, I mean, like him being okay with first names makes sense, and like like I said before, they're trying to meet on some sort of like equal field,
Yeah.
minus the whole touring the palace and the kingdom situation. But because again, I'm not sure. I said it before, but I'm not sure how familiar you are with like the general plot of 50 Shades of Grey. But this is somewhat reminiscent of the general plot of 50 Shades of Grey, at least the setup. So, So not exactly equal at the moment, but first names make sense. I'm just surprised she went back to Your Highness after starting to call him Thomas.
Right,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
right.
Guess who's back? Back again. Welcome back, Claire.
I know.
2 days later.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but hey, at least you saw a little bit of the dates.
Yes. Okay, so question in this matter, because we kind of knew this was a possibility, because we said before that the one the one of two ways it could have gone down was like the SpongeBob Best Day Ever route, where he declared a bunch of things and something would happen in between to interrupt the idea so they never actually get to do these things. Or we're saying, I trust that we're not going to just skip all the stuff that he declared. Because my question here, I mean, I know, but Bon is saying, I know it's crazy. If you knew, I'm guessing this is a, why question from Bon. My question for you in that case is, if you knew that this was going to be an issue, why did you make the dates last an entire week? Why not just, take part of an episode and then just do like one event?
This was okay. The fact that the kingdom is like really big, like Babylon is very big, and it was Eli's idea to make it more bigger than the other kingdoms that I made. And
okay.
I'm also I know I could have green screened some of this stuff, but I literally I didn't want to. Let's just say I didn't want to bore you guys with too much Tom Fia content, and just I don't.
This entire episode is, based around Tom Fia as a concept. I feel like we all knew what we signed up for.
Yeah.
More so than the Alita's birthday, which tended to be at the end of a Tom Fia episode, kind of surprisingly. This one we knew from the get-go.
Yeah, let me just think. This would be I want to say this would be day 4 of this will take this few days later thing. This will take place day 4 of the week, so basically halfway through.
So in that case, we've missed the tour of the kingdom, which you've said before was meant to be super big, and also the cruise across the sea. Which I'm surprised that usual people would skip a cruise ship, but
I want to say about I think she was about to go on the cruise. I literally. Yeah, I know. I'm probably bad at doing. Yeah, I know you.
I mean, it does seem like people would not have been disappointed by this.
I
also,
know you're disappointed, but I'm sorry.
The way that he described Bayvidal in the last episode and the stuff there. It did seem like it was a bit more of a developed kingdom. It's like, okay, this is a very interesting thing. I would very much like to see it, and here we are. So that's another thing.
All right, now I'm trying to think about how to make it up to you guys in episode 5.
Maybe a flashback montage. If you don't want to bore people with content necessarily, maybe have a montage of their date experiences. The part that got skipped, and then maybe say that Sofia is potentially recounting that. Maybe the episode opens up with the montage, and there's and that's how it happened, or something to that degree. Because you could then also use clips from the episode that we actually do see later on. Because I'm aware that we're only a third of the way through, so yeah, we'll see what else is in here. Oh, okay. We are literally cutting away. Oh, right. Okay. Hey, girls, how do you think Sofia's first date is going? We'll never know. I'm kidding.
I'm sure they're having a great time.
Hopefully no one... Oh, ruins it. Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah, she was about to say hopefully no one ruins it, and then the rings beep at like as
Nice,
soon as
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. First potential mission scenario we've had for a while in Eurovision Pops. I mean, again, it's nice to it gets a break from that sometimes, but yeah, I mean, we haven't had too much basically. Majesty, I'm guessing you have a mission for us. Correct, Alina. Unfortunately, you and the other girls are needed on the ship.
Okay, so fair warning, you're gonna see a satellite with those worried eyebrows. It's because she was worried that she was a little sad that she had to leave the day prematurely because of this mission.
I mean, that does make sense. Yeah, that tracks. Again, I'm not against like sadness when you use it in a story as long as it actually makes sense. As long as it doesn't hijack the story itself. Like this one, yeah, of course she'd be sad about that. You know, who wouldn't be in that situation? That being said, you know, Thomas is going to suspect something is up, given that she teleported in front of his face, so he knows that there's something about her that.
Eli did bring that up.
You do know that you can cut things from a video if someone brings up an issue behind.
Well, she said it was also too late, so.
Oh, did she point this out like after it was posted?
Exactly, because we.
Oh, okay, then yeah, a bit more difficult.
What else to include in terms of like episodes 5 and 6? And obviously, one of them is going to be Sofia telling Thomas that she's a Eurovision pop. And
of course.
then that's when she said, like, yeah, especially since she teleported in front of Thomas out of nowhere.
It's like, oh, so that's why you could do that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That is, I also get a Steven from Steven Universe vibe, but yeah, probably did say that before. From we're coming. Eurovision Pops United Strong. So now it's more uniform compared to the several languages previously. Oh, okay. So wait. So the message went out to both of it was trying to be like both parts at the same time.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what I mean by she was upset because she was. That's why she's upset because she.
I'm just pitching from her perspective. You know, like the ring goes off with like and Tom's like, wait, what was that noise? Oh, nothing. Sure thing, Alina. I'm sorry, but you have to go. It's like, wait, Alina? Did Alina get mentioned? Are you in a three-way call here? Like, yeah, don't worry about that. Gotta go. Shut up. Hey, what's the trouble, Majesty? Well, there's been trouble in France for the miraculous superheroes.
Now, before anyone comments,
I said bug out before.
Know that they made their official name the Miraculars, but this was filmed, or rather, I started episodes way before Revelator came out. So Revelator was when we found out that they changed they made their official name the Miraculars. So this was before Revelator. This was way before Revelator came out. So
fair enough.
Before
this
anyone
is actually
comments
the first,
there's your answer.
Yeah, this is actually the first I'm hearing of this, because I don't know if you heard about this, but Spain got rid of Disney Channel as a channel overall. So until season 6 comes out on Disney Plus, I am unable to watch it aside from the illustrator / designatrice, or whatever the episode is called. Aside from that one episode, I'm like, okay, I've not seen anything else from season 6, so I was unaware of that. So yeah, fair enough.
I was about to say, am I basic? No, it's miraculous.
Miraculous, yeah. Which honestly sounds like miraculous. So yeah, I mean, from an English perspective, that makes sense. I'm not sure what their French name is. That's another matter. Yeah, who knows? I think it's better that I let them explain it.
Yeah, because this is.
Oh, there they are. All right.
Hey, girls. Sorry we had to interrupt your date, Sofia.
Okay, how does she know? I know the whole Marinette stalker joke. Like, I'm aware of that, but what?
Okay, so here's the thing. So how about this? Marinette Ladybug contacted Majesty. Majesty was and okay. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this.
Oh no, Bon has been here before. He's having flashbacks. Oh god. Also, to clarify, it's been a few days later. Remember, the date was meant to last a week. Johnny said it was like roughly day 4-ish. We're supposed to be halfway through. So that's why it still had to be cut short, to this makes sense. So there we go.
Great.
It's all right, I suppose. Depending on how fast you finish the mission, you can actually just return. I mean, after like a week with a person, like a few minutes or maybe like an hour break would not be out of the question. So you can recover from this basically, assuming that nothing happens to her in this episode. But yeah,
it's about my daughter and Rena's starter. For some reason, they got acclimatized by the new holder of the Butterfly Miraculous, which is no longer me. Just pointing that out. It's no longer me.
Oh yeah, I forgot the whole villain Johnny. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, because it's no longer me because we officially have the name for Cerise's Butterfly Miraculous holder. So now it's back to traditional new Butterfly Miraculous holder.
Okay, fair enough then.
Yeah, so it's Chrysalis.
Yeah.
That's her name.
I'm enjoying collabing on a series just combo after combo of I think and how about this. Yeah, the I think was referenced to like yesterday's stream, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
that was KW's method of yeah. Well, KW said like I think to multiple questions about like her creative process from videos she had just made. So it didn't inspire confidence for the same reason. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Oh no! How could they be akumatized? They seem so happy together. Again, how much do you know about them and them about you and...
Well, okay. They did meet them in the very first episode of Eurovision Pops, and they got into
know... yeah, because they also met about at the party as well. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so they got to know them quite well.
The scene, the music.
Yeah, that was like one of the only sad, like very long sad music I could think of.
Yeah, I would have played this one when Sofia was talking about her dad.
Date?
Actually. Yeah,
during the actual
like
date.
At least like that specific part of the date. Yeah, not the whole thing, but yeah. Also, it could be related to like any like they're being traumatized compared to like any other problems, not just romance related ones. There could be like
Oh,
literally
it
like
wasn't
other things going on.
romance. It
Yeah,
was
exactly. It's not like being in love fixes everything. Otherwise, Lady Wi-Fi would have shown up like 3 fewer times than she actually did.
yeah, it wasn't. Well,
Speaking of
Ladybug,
Lady Wi-Fi.
yeah, Ladybug and I kind of have a suspicion involving me and Carapace.
Okay, another happy couple. Well, maybe there's something going on. Over the joke again. Adrian, quit playing the piano! Now is not the time and place!
We're worried that Amy's still sad about the new rule I made for the other miraculous holders. Which, here's the thing. Alright, so I know you saw Illustrator, right? Like
yeah. So I'm vaguely aware of this rule. Yes.
You are very well. Okay, so for those of you who, just a quick recap on the new rule Ladybug made. It's basically if it's an akumatized victim, you have to wait till you're actually called. But if it's a regular civilians, then you can pretty much help them. If it's regular civilians, you can help them.
Yeah. Which, of course, what's of course, what? But the question then would become if the Kumatai's villain posed a threat to regular civilians, what to do in that situation. But I think they did play around with that in the first, yeah. So that okay, fair enough. So in that sense, actually, it's like what's going to be the issue for the other miraculous, I suppose, is that if they need to wait to be called for an akumatized villain or to like go into action to help in that situation, and they're all willing to help, summoning the Eurovision pops to deal with 2 akumatized villains instead of the other miraculous is not going to sit well for them.
Oh yeah. Because they never face. You're thinking they never faced an akumatized victim before?
No. I mean, they absolutely have, obviously. I mean, I've seen the other seasons. They've all dealt with this before. What I'm saying is that if they're waiting to be called based on the rule, if they're abiding by that, and they suddenly find out, oh, wait, Ladybug called upon an entirely different team of superheroes instead for the thing that we've been waiting to deal with, that's not going to sit well with them, is it? It's gonna... All right.
Oh yeah, I forgot the part. Yeah, including.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the rule? Okay, we're gonna get
Yeah, they don't know. They didn't know. The Eurovision Pops didn't know.
I mean, that's fair. They wouldn't necessarily, depending on like how recent this actually is. Because I mean, I'm guessing that this was probably, you said it's dating back to like a long time before they called themselves the Miraculous, but obviously the new rules in question. So I'm guessing that you watched like the early season 6 at this point, whatever was out at the time, and that hadn't been fully like so not everything was firmly established yet.
Okay, maybe I didn't think this through because I'm replying to what Bond said in the chat.
Again, Bond speaks from experience of trying to canonize something, on live stream and having it backfire immediately. It doesn't usually end up going well. They're suffering from protagonitis. She's the only one with a different pose and expression.
Yeah.
Okay. To put it simply, only Ladybug and Cat Noir can face akumatized victims. The rest of us, they're allowed to help civilians. Yeah. It's been 2 years, other VCs that have let me live it down. One time. Never let me live down. Hey, look, it's been 4 years for Aiden. Or 5 almost, I think, for Fallen Angels. So yeah, and he's had the whole non-canon backgrounds thing repeated to him for longer than that. Anyway, that's fair, I assume. But why would Jess and Amy be sad about that? If I recall, one of them became miraculous holder sometime in the in the lore.
Yeah, Amy did.
Yeah. You and Carapace still get to be heroes. Well, yeah.
Knowing Amy, though, she probably got worried that her parents wouldn't be heroes for a while this season. Which
are they aware they're in a television show now?
I mean, hey, here's the thing.
Yeah.
With all the episodes that came out, whether that's in a French dub or Portuguese dub or an English dub, at the time as of today, Reina has only appeared twice. Illustrator and Revelator, and I believe, Illustrator and Revelator, and Carapace has only appeared in Illustrator.
You know what? I'm actually that theorizing now that maybe the writers did that because they realized that having a bunch of superheroes like roaming around all at the same time, you know, that could kill someone at any moment would be like too chaotic to handle. So now I can, so that might be why they did the whole, you know, like villain rule basically. I assume they're trying to share the screen time, especially considering that Rena and Carapace got a lot more attention than the other Miraculous before, like in other seasons. So, you know what? I can actually see where they're going with that from a theoretical perspective, because I'm assuming that means that the other Miraculous have had more episodes for themselves compared to those two.
Yeah,
thought so. Okay.
When Amy, the daughter of except the problem is Amy, knowing like Cass said, knowing Amy, if you know Amy, she
would be worried about her parents particularly. And obviously in this continuity where they're older and potentially, you know, like potentially, you know, a bit more spread out as far as, you know, friend groups go, it's not like they would necessarily you know, it's not like Amy would necessarily like be super close to any of the other, you know, Miraculous in their civilian forms. They'd be, you know, off living their own adult lives. So she would definitely still have a bias towards her parents and see how they've been potentially treated unfairly, which I imagine would also reflect some of the fans who also think that's going to be being treated unfairly. But then again, other fans complain about the overuse of them in earlier seasons. So I mean, now we're just seeing the pendulum swing the opposite direction. But there you go. Season? Do you mean? No breaking the fourth wall, Majesty. What the rumors of this? With pleasure. Existence is torture. Okay. All right.
That's correct, Cass. And Jess must have gotten worried about Amy since, well, they're best friends.
So how will we save them? We never dealt with an akumatization before. That's true. They might not know how it works. There are several
they
that do know how it works, but I've already talked about that. So moving on.
Anyway, we know. That's why Ladybug and I are going to help you out with this. Now, if you're wondering where Cat Noir is,
he's playing the piano off screen.
Yeah. Let's just go.
He's on soundtrack duty.
Let's just go with he's playing the piano.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like she can call. Oh, wait, no. This version of her can call upon Cat Noir because they're married, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
What about that rule, though? Follow the golden rule. Well, life's a two-way street. Okay.
Well, since this is Jess and Amy we're talking about, Ladybug chose me down, so.
Hmm. That makes sense. Why we're here, though, doesn't. But let's go. Imagine she doesn't even look behind as they teleport. She's just like, okay. Be gone with you. All right. Where are you, Ladybug? I do like how they've got like vastly different designs, as if they've been akumatized before, and they don't quite match.
Okay, so do you want to know their names for the akumatized victim names?
Oh, did they not say them in the episode?
No, they didn't. Okay, so
okay, all right.
Amy is known as Bounce Rage, which is basically Rena Rage, but you know, her pop name. And then originally Jess was going to be when Eli came up with the names, or rather Eli came up with Jess's akumatized name, she jokingly said she originally was going to call Jess Captain Poolwater to, reference the original run of Disco Pass with her obsession with pool water.
Okay.
But I thought it was like Captain Poolwater, seriously. But but then we came up with Imposter for her love of Among Us, which is still present in the reboot.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, if you want to keep the pool water theme, I would have gone with Queen Piscine, personally, but there you go.
Yeah.
That'd be my villain name.
Well, sure.
you still haven't established if we're doing a miraculous parody. So
yeah,
I don't know.
If you do a miraculous parody, make me the Butterfly Miraculous, make me Wi-Fi Moth, and I'll kumatize you, Bond.
Queen PC, yeah. All right. You're going to pay for making my parents just secondary heroes. Plot twist. We're gonna get to like season 6, and it turns out that Rena Furtive was just in the background of like a bunch of shots, and no one noticed. Can you imagine if they did that? It's like, well, guess what? He was there the whole time. You just didn't see. Anyways, Bugaboo asked me to work on some sound effects for today. And I'm stuck watching over him. Rabbit is very terrifying.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And you will give us your miraculous in the process.
Whoa! Did they cause this mess? Did they cause it? Yeah. There she is, bestie, and it looks like she brought backup. Then comes Captain Poolwater's psychic, Lieutenant Soapwater. No. Sergeant Sud. There we go.
Rena, Eurovision Pops, what the heck are you guys doing here?
No, they've torn Paris to the foundation. They've just like ripped it off the ground, so they all see the rock underneath. Anyway, we're here to stop you. We'll only stop once Ladybug gives us her miraculous.
Yeah, fair warning. There'll eventually be a little fighting, but it's just mainly gonna be verbal. I'm sorry. I know. I know this was my.
Okay. Okay.
For anyone, I was just saying, for anyone who prefers fighting over talking as the way to get rid of anathematization, uh, there's your answer.
Well, see, here's the
Here's your
thing, because
warning.
talk most of the time doesn't work. In fact, I think the first time it ever did work was in season 4 with, again, Lady Wi-Fi. And
Yeah,
that was like a Hail Mary ploy, didn't you try it with like the rest of the Gang of Secrets? So yeah, like it's not a very common thing for someone to be able to do that, especially if it's their first time being akumatized.
yeah.
Anyways, Amy, listen to me. I know you're upset about the new rule they made about me and Carapace, and also everyone else, but we're good. All right.
Nah.
It wasn't just about them.
Yeah.
But you know that it's just to protect us. And so the writers don't have to animate everyone all at once. Probably.
We won't listen to you, Rena. It's Ladybug's fault that this happened in the first place.
Oh, thank goodness they do something. All right, I was gonna be worried if Ladybug like was the next person to talk, and then it went back and forth between them, and that was like the whole situation. Because we've had an
It
issue in the
wasn't.
past with, yeah, if you have, we had an issue in the past with, you know, not just your show, but like pop series in general, where if the pops are summoned to like help with another existing threat, more often than not, it becomes like the person who summoned them that ends up solving the issue, and it's just
Right.
like, well, why were they even here? So I'm glad, I believe that's not the reason. You know, because otherwise, you
Yeah.
know, poor Sofia, she's been summoned for no reason after her royal date, or during a royal date, in fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, if she delivers the final line, that would be like the perfect icing on the cake. But let's see. Anyways, it might be, but she probably didn't know how you would both react to it.
Which is a valid reason.
I'm sure she feels bad about it. Meanwhile, Ladybug is just like, I feel nothing. My decision is final. Grow up.
Oh my god.
We have to.
Fox is just like, when do we start blasting?
We can't just get rid of this energy. We have to set it somewhere. What do we do?
Well, first we have to find out where the Akuma is, but we have to be careful because that's still just an Amy.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I'm from what I've seen, you know, people have remarkable resistance when akumatized, like on the same level as, you know, as the miraculous themselves sometimes. So I guess that's obviously the reason they can get you know, ragdolled around. But then again, also the civilians have a lot of resistance that they probably shouldn't have, depending on certain situations. But that's obviously, you know, that's obviously source material stuff. But yeah, so they probably would be fine for the most part. What we've seen of like, you know, like pops whenever they like shoot lasers, it doesn't usually end up hurting the people that they're targeting too much. More often than not, they actually dodge them, to be fair, but still. Anyway, you have to find out where the Akuma is, but be careful. That's still Jess and Amy. Okay, so they know how akumatization works. Okay, so there's not. So the first time dealing with the akumatized villain, but it's not their first time, like, you know, learning how it works. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah.
I already told you, Alina, we won't stop until Ladybug gives us her miraculous.
Hmm. Jessica, you know I would never do that. Then we'll never stop. Bye bye, Paris. Someone's explosion. Yeah. Girls, please, we don't want to fight you.
Works for us.
All right. All right, fine. We'll give you our miraculous Mirage. We have them.
Oh my gosh, Bon! I get
Fight them.
it.
Fight.
I get it.
Ever since the
I
finale of
warned you,
Blues
this was
Pops.
gonna be mostly verbal.
Oh my goodness, it's like the end of Twilight with the Volturi. Anyway. Oh, okay. I guess their energy blasting is more telekinesis. Okay. There's their mask helmets with the Kuma's hidden. Yeah, I wouldn't know where the Kuma would be like on bounce rage. I would have guessed on imposter it would have been the helmet.
Yeah. This is another. I didn't think this through. It's I haven't. I wanna say it could be the chest plate.
Well, I mean, I assume that if they're trying to find it, they would have to know. I guess. Well, I mean, I guess like the butterfly usually, whenever someone rejects Nakuma, it does like fly out of of its its hiding place. So we should see it at some point.
Yeah.
Ladybug, Rena.
Quick, Bestie, take leave. It's miraculous.
I'm doing the telekinesis here. I'm holding them in place. You do it. That's it, young lady. You're grounded. No, you're grounded. That would have been a good catchphrase, actually. Anyway. On it. Let me go, Circle. No, you have to listen to us. And by us, I mean me, because I'm doing most of the talking. Honestly, Sofia needs a line here to justify like her being, like,
she will
having a date interrupted.
eventually.
Yeah. Okay. Why should we listen to you? You're an enemy. Oh, the misery. Why should I listen to an enemy? Because you're supposed to fight for good, not evil. You are the chosen ones. Okay. You are supposed to destroy the butterfly holder, not join them.
Oh, great. Bon is literally losing it.
From my point of view, Ladybug is evil. Then you are lost.
Oh my god. They're verbally fighting.
To be fair, yeah, some attacks are, going around. Like, we are seeing some action. It's mostly restraining characters rather than the typical, like, miraculous, like, acrobatics that we're used to from the show. Yeah. But it's still, it's more in line with what we've seen with of the Pops, like, as far as, like, their action sequences go, which honestly is more of a result of their budget than anything else. But yeah. So please, girls, I only been through a lot these last 3 years. But this won't change anything.
Yeah, basically, this is set in 2025. So,
okay.
And I'm trying to think if it was 2022 or 2023 that when we saw that Gabriel passed away.
So this rule has been in effect for 2 to 3 years, and only now do they start to complain about it.
No.
Follow the golden rule, but do not tell your kids.
You didn't know about this rule until Illustrator premiered.
Let's give a shout when I find out the thing that I did. So they didn't find out about this rule until, okay. So that's why they're like, hey, how come we haven't been doing any hearing, like much hearing for the past 3 years? Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah. Like, basically what Sophia's referring to is just getting upset that her grandfather passed away. Amy getting upset. Oh, wait, no, I got it now. 2022 was when I believe, was when Ollie announced tricks. So we know that made Amy upset.
Oh, wait. So, Strike Back Sadness is still canon? I didn't realize. I
Yeah,
thought
Strike
that
Back
got wrecked.
Sadness is still canon. Gabriel's
Oh,
funeral
no.
is still canon.
Okay. All right. I thought Strike Back Sadness got, like, taken down. I forgot what happened at the end of that. Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Bon's telling me to get it together. Oh my.
Because you keep being
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, how about this?
Okay, the question is this gonna be. The question is this episode probably gonna be more or less worse than the childhood memories episode 5?
Oh, absolutely not. No, it's absolutely not as bad as Childhood Memories. No way. I mean, Childhood Memories are like a different level. Strike Back Sadness is second, and then everything else, is like on different layers. Like it was just like those two particular, like the big outliers. That's why I'm shocked that Strike Back Sadness is still canon, because Childhood Memories got nuked off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
But yes, okay. So yeah, obviously not the final thoughts yet, but I can confidently say right now, not as bad as those two. Anyway, this won't change anything. Before you harm your fellow man, ask this question first: how would you feel if it were you? If your fortunes were reversed, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes, it will change something. If we have the miraculous, then we can make the rules.
I will say this. If any of the miraculous at this point chose to break the rule, what would Ladybug do?
She's more worried about what would happen if they were akumatized with the miraculous. Well,
oh no, I understand. Yeah, I'm talking about like in the even both in the actual show and in this continuity, like with the other miraculous. If anyone everyone's like choosing to abide by this rule, basically, because I imagine for like narrative purposes, they would break it at some point if there's like a desperate situation, or somebody was like, I'm tired of this. I'm not a spectator. I'm a warrior, or something like that. I imagine someone might someone might crack at some point. Depending on who it might be. Honestly, I would have guessed it would, that if that did happen at some point, it would probably be Carapace. But
okay,
yeah,
Ghost Game wants to know if she's gonna need to sit down, make a whole document properly playing out this timeline.
Well, yeah. See, here's the thing: you plan out this timeline, but you also have to consider like everything else that's happening in the franchise as well. So yeah, it's that would be like a whole ordeal. Again, why the Butterverse was kept to a simple timeline, because I thought if someone wanted to do that, they would have all the pieces. I just wouldn't tell them what order they fit in. But that's just a me thing. But yeah. Also, fight, fight, please. Whoever has the gold makes the rules. But you can't make the rules. I mean, you can modify reality with Made on Countless Miraculous. You can very much make the rules. Yes, we can. Yeah. Girls, just take some deep breaths and try to... Deep breaths. That's the way to reject an Akuma, obviously. Just deep breaths.
Well, she's a therapist.
I mean, sure. A therapist might start there, but they're not going to end there. It's like, oh yeah, Beal and Endel. Like... Again, going back to like the Lady Wi-Fi situation, it was more of like an appeal to like her like positive emotions and like her actual willpower, rather than just a case of like, okay, all right, Alia, breathe, exhale, inhale, exhale. You're back. That wasn't how it went down, if I recall the episode correctly.
Bon. F tier.
I mean, she's not doing well for herself in this episode. She's done better in others, I think.
Are
Yeah.
you okay? Oh my god. Alright, that's it. I'm having
No one says me. I make the rules, and I say there will be blood. uh, Oh, by the way, they have not got up yet. Ladybug and Rena Rouge they're down for the count after one attack. That is impressive. To be fair,
Yeah.
no one ever thinks that blunt force head trauma. That would probably leave them out for some time, but that never happens in the show.
Unconscious spell.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So it wasn't blunt force trauma. Okay, fine, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I guess again they do have like some level of natural healing anyway, so yeah. I'm now imagining an episode where like Ladybug has to fight with a concussion, and she can't use Miraculous Ladybug until like later once she's like finished, so she can't like fix it until after the battle is
She
done.
can't even use Miraculous Ladybug until she summons the Lucky Charm.
Well, yeah, by that point, yeah, like she would use it at some point. Like obviously she'd go through the motions, basically. Which, by the way, no Lucky Charm thus far, because obviously she's unconscious. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe it might not come into play in this case. Anyways, not until Ladybug either hands over the Miraculous. You know, out of context, if I just saw this image and didn't know what was happening in the episode, I would assume that Bounce Rage was the one that holding Imposter in the force field based on like how her hand is positioned.
She's pointing at the Eurovision hospital like, you're an enemy.
You know you can change a person's hand like to point in Gacha Club. Yeah. Anyway. Or she apologized for the terrible rule she made. All right, Ladybug, apologize. Or blink. Or, I don't know, get up from the ground. This was a mistake.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. Now, so they do get to, all right, fine. Yeah. So, what happened? Are I mean just deakumatized?
Not really.
Yeah, about that. They knocked both of you unconscious. Ladybug, apologize. Never! Okay. Boom, boom. Back to unconscious.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. This is... Okay, this might be one of my worst. Yeah, like I said, this might be one of my worst episodes.
I think it's... okay, I'll say this. I think it's probably the weakest episode thus far of Eurovision Pop specifically. Maybe not like overall of the history of your channel, but of this particular series. We've been doing like extremely well with Eurovision Pops up until you know, I guess halfway through this one. But anyway, I'll talk about that more at the end.
Yeah.
What do we do? We'll give you another few minutes to sleep on it. Yeah.
Oh god.
Okay. Now we get the Lucky Charm. All right. I better summon a Lucky Charm. Oh, okay. That was okay. In all fairness, they sort, from what I remember, they sort of like did away with like the fanfare of Lucky Charm because she can summon multiple now. So yeah, I guess there's not much of a reason to do like the whole, you know, like there's like Lucky Charm, like you know the reused animation and such. There's not much of a purpose behind that anymore. So okay, fair. She could just, you know, do that. All right. And I'll say this, I've been waiting for a Lucky Charm to exist in your continuity for a long time, because normally when Ladybug shows up, she's never used it before.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I get to see like a little bit of like the actual mechanics, you know, a little bit of like how a miraculous like combat scene would go down. Aside from, again, like not too much of the action, but we still get bits and pieces. All right, let's see.
A cell phone? That's our last hope.
She's not responding. She doesn't even look at Alia. She's just like she's doing the thing, you know, where she like zooms in and it's like the ding din, din, like that thing. Yeah, that's what's going on right now. Just she's not like you do have to wonder like what happens if someone's like talking to her while she's doing that. It's like milady, you in there?
Oh my god.
Okay. Anyway, well, now that she's up, maybe Ladybug can apologize for what she did. Listen, girls, I'm sorry about the trouble I made with that rule. I really mean it. Oh, music change. Okay. The tension is calming.
Yeah, some
I
of
mean,
these,
it kind of makes sense here. The tension's diffusing, so yeah.
Yeah.
Your parents can return to normal duties again when it's safe, Amy. Oh, okay. So you're caving in and changing the rule now for them. I guess if there were two heroes that I would change the rule for, it would be those two. Again, after the writers give a bit of time to the others. So yeah, maybe sometime soon in the series.
It's her lucky charm, Bon.
Oh yeah, I think you might have missed that. Yeah, that lucky charm did transform into that. Not sure what she's going to use it for just yet, but there you go. The story cave in. Well, sometimes I will say this. I will say this. You know, when Ladybug makes like a hard rule, more often than not, like she does end up caving in. Whereas like, oh wait, this was like a bad idea. Like take season 4 for example. The whole rule around that, like, you know, you have to give back the, you know, the miraculous because they'll be safer with me rather than with somebody else. What happens in that? Well, strike back minus the sadness. Like that was the whole thing. And she was like, oh well, that was a bad idea. And that's why once she got everyone back, also got the commies back, she then corrected, and that's why we got season 6 right now with the miraculous in the way that they are at the moment. So she did realize, you know, at some point, like, yeah, she has to cave in and realize that she isn't always right. Like, yeah, I mean, as the Guardian, she has to make tough decisions. She has to like abide by certain rules for herself. But much like how she convinced, like, you know, I forgot like the name of like the head monk, the one that's like that was like Master Fu's boss from the temple. I forgot what his name is. But much like how she convinced him that like Fu's method was what was appropriate, she had to say like, okay, you know, apply the same discipline and diligence to herself that she did to other people, correcting them. So I do kind of get caving in to some degree, and there is a possibility, unless something major happens at the end of season 6, that they will rescind that rule. Unless the show is over. You know, if the show ends, that's one thing. But if they want to carry it on, then she'll probably have some like realization, and then there'll be a different setting for later.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Anyway, basically having Cassandra just tell Blonde is like, this was probably a bad idea. I forgot to put an A. I forgot to put an A in there, but between was and bad, but yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you meant Cassandra's name. Cassandra. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Dashboard liked by Meatloaf. Okay, fair enough. Minus the sadness sounds like an actual title of a fanfic. Had it written by Maddie. Well, but that's a fanfic of specifically Strike Back Sadness from Johnny's channel. Maddie's retelling of it. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Maybe that's, you know, how it plays out. Yeah, I guess we'll find out. Yeah, again, that's obviously up to, you know, the actual writers rather than you know, the fan project. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, for this episode, yeah, it does seem like she does that. Oh no, yeah, again, not a character. Anyway, and how do we know that we'll keep your word? Because I just recorded myself with this phone that I have, and that's and now you have proof. But wait, doesn't like a charm disappear after you summarize? Because they're like, no, forget about that. I posted it to Ladyblog, so now it's up there forever. I promise, even if I renounce my title to Rena, which I guess would be the person that you renounce it to, all right, fine.
Yeah, because that happened at the end of Illustrator. Marina officially made Ollie her guardian in
Oh
training.
yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. Because I watched that with some other people and I was like, something's gonna happen to Marinette this season, isn't it? It's like, if anything happens to me, I'm just throwing this out there with no intent of foreshadowing. If something happens to me, you're next. Oh no, there go my legs. Something like that. I don't know. That might actually also be another way that could end the season in theory, if something like, but I don't know. Oh my goodness. Okay. There go my legs. My effing legs, Alia. Okay. Oh, right there. All right. I'll make sure she can make sure the rule is abolished, but you can just abolish it for everyone now. If you caved in at this point, you've decided that's not a good idea, you can just say that right now. You could use that phone to make a live broadcast and be like, attention everyone, I'm rescinding the rule, all Miraculous are, free agents now or something. I don't know. Okay, we trust you. You're holding a phone in your hand now, so I guess it's different to what we thought of you before. Why exactly was that? Okay.
That was the only pose I can think of to get them to try to struggle to resist.
Oh, okay. So there's only one butterfly. Which, by the way, that's a giant butterfly. I've seen mega akumas, but that is a mega akuma.
It's an ultra.
Okay,
Kuma.
so I mean that also makes sense. Ultra.
Yeah, they're now called ultra kumas.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. What was I gonna say? I forgot now. Yeah. So okay. So this also makes sense, by the way, of why there was no Akuma on Bounce Rage, because again, go back to the Gang of Secrets. The first time someone did reject an Akuma like this, they actually there was actually only one Akuma that went into the brace that they were all holding.
Alex.
So if they happen to be both holding a certain object, like, hey, look at this helmet memorabilia that I have right now from an official Among Us prop or something, I don't know, and they just happen to be both touching at the same time, that would have counted. So yeah, again, that also tracks. The helmet would also still be visible, it's still that unless the object was destroyed, which it wasn't in this case. So that's the only thing that I would have rectified here.
My gosh, look at what just said.
Okay, great. So we go home. Gotcha. Get lost, stupid butterfly. You can imagine I've seen. that was a really good one. That I think might have been the first time that I actually rewound, watched it in English after watching it in Spanish for the first time, and then also watched it in French afterwards, just because I wanted to hear how everyone had handled that line, and no one disappointed.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's something. Mr. Butterfly is me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Also, I just realized that Ram does not have a tail. Oh yeah, I might have forgotten about the tail.
Right, this show to rewatch and catch up.
Thanks.
You know what? You know what? I from what I remember, she had a tail coat, but I forgot if she actually had the tail or not. I mean, I know part of transformation is her showing off the tail coat or something, but
yeah,
outside of staying up, yeah. Maybe I just didn't notice that my eyes dart away from whenever there's a shot of a character's butt in a series, so I'm just okay, yep, all right. So maybe just haven't noticed. I mean, for Cat Noir's tail is basically a belt, so it's not really yeah, Mandela effect. Yeah, you know what? I will have to check that. Yeah, you know what? Maybe after this, after I make dinner, I'll watch Gang of Secrets again because it feels relevant to this episode particularly. But yeah, back to this. By the way, Get Lost with Butterflies is somewhat relevant in this case because this is a moment where we should see the capturing of the Ultra Kuma. So let's see how that proceeds. Oh, okay. Again, very casual compared to the animation fanfare. But yeah, okay, accurate. Bye bye little butterflies. What she says normally. Yeah. Au revoir petit papillon. Yeah, of course. Adios mariposita. And then Rak's ladybug. Okay. So now I have to question this.
Yeah, the phone.
That was meant to be their salvation, but it never, like, the lucky charm, like, always comes at, like, obviously it's two times at the end because of something, but, like, in general, it's meant to be used as, like, the way to win the battle. It seems superfluous in this case. Like, it could have turned to anything and the same result would have happened.
Okay. I'm trying to think of a good excuse.
Oh no, not again.
Yeah, this is a poor. This was poorly executed. I'm just.
Okay, did you have a reason at the time of writing this for why it became a phone?
I think we were going to reference that the Lucky Charm was pointing at Ladybug, like at sublimation, where I think it was more like a phone instead of a mirror, though. But I think that's what I was trying to go for, was the phone was supposed to represent Ladybug, and then because remember, if you haven't seen Sublimation, basically what happened was Ladybug caused Sublime to break her prosthetics, because Sublime is a prosthetic girl.
Okay, yeah.
And that caused her mother, Caroline, to get akumatized. And then the Lucky Charm in that episode was a mirror. So, but she thought the mirror was going to help them defeat sublimation. Excuse me. But she later realized that the Lucky Charm was pointing at Marinette, at Ladybug, and not sublimation. I know it's
okay.
I know it's a bit confusing.
Oh, so basically the idea. So all right. So the idea was that it's pointing to, like, okay, you are the solution. Just use your words or something. Which, I mean, yeah, okay, all right. Maybe that's the case. Yeah, if I'd known that was, like, the whole point of the mirror, maybe we, like, saw like somewhat, like, her looking at the phone itself and like how coming to that realization. Maybe that would have been a good thing. This is where camera angles would come in handy for you, particularly if she had like a shot of, like, her just looking into the phone, and then, like, maybe, like, having a shocked expression, like realizing, like, oh wait, it's me or something like that. Yeah, because right now it just appears like she's going, so if I take a good look in the mirror, hopefully you'll see I'm speaking truthfully, Anyway. All right, and yeah, I guess, like, the whole, like, the actual magical ladybugs would be a difficult effect. So yeah, fair enough. All right. Stop being like Bond 2 years ago. Let's rest. Oh, is that her new deactivation phrase?
No. Let's rest is still her deactivation phrase. It's just this is an outfit I made for her to make her feel more like an adult and not her teenage.
I wasn't questioning the outfit. In fact, I do appreciate the outfit because, like I said, that was my major complaint with one of my major complaints with this series up until right now, that you were going through so many mental gymnastics to justify them being in those outfits to begin with, like, this whole time. So I'm glad that you finally actually made the outfits age appropriate, or at least different enough. Same color scheme, but different enough. You know, that tracks. Yeah. All right. Moment of self-reflection. Yeah. uh,
Are you feeling better now, Amy?
a little bit, Mom. Although I'm sorry I got sad. I will excuse it this episode because, again, negative emotions, akumatization, that tracks. Chris and I were just worried that you were going to just be a secondary hero again.
I mean,
we reacted the same way that the fans of the show have been reacting. Which, to be honest, I can actually picture, from my understanding, Thomas Astruc is no longer writing for the series, but I could absolutely picture an Astruc-written episode, which was just all about a person like getting jaded at the way that Ladybug and Cat Noir were reacting, like on the media in universe, being like a thinly veiled critique on like the rabid fans.
oh my.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't get that.
Oh god, looks like Johnny followed his own characters. Oh my god, yeah. Well, this is it. Forget episodes 5, 6, and 7. I think Eurovision Pops is canceled.
No need to go that far. All right. That way things will work out. You've got to work this out. Okay.
What about my mom? If she renounces her title, she'll lose her memory.
That's an entirely separate issue that's not to do with, like, Ladybug's rule. That has nothing to do with this conversation.
I think it was to reference, like, they still remember her telling them that if Alia were the guardian, she can make sure the rule is abolished. I think they still remember that part.
Okay, I mean, just telling Alia to abolish the rule would make sense. I mean, again, it's not like a fast rule of like, you know, you are bound by magic to obey this law or anything, because that goes against the agency of the characters that we've seen from the other seasons. So yeah, it's not like you could just say, oh, by the way, abolish this rule, please. You know, Tiki, I renounce you, or whatever, or you know, I renounce my talents, or whatever they have to do, basically.
Oh my gosh, Bond is losing it. When I said that your Richard Pop was going to be canceled.
Drastic measures. I mean, to be okay, you know what? I'll say this. You know, just before they're like, oh, there go my legs. Actually, now that you bring that up again, the whole renouncing of the title thing. That to me seems like they're potentially foreshadowing that not necessarily that they'll go through with it, not necessarily, but there will at least be a threat, and that there will be some reason why a Marinette would like consider that choice and possibly be stopped at the last minute, or if she does go through with it, somehow it would end up being rectified towards the end for whatever convenient.
Yeah, I was about to say, I did put up a poll saying, like, you know, if you guys wanted Alia to be the guardian in my universe. Yeah, unfortunately you guys did not want that to happen because you didn't want me to clash with the actual season. So
more than you've done so already by aging them up and having them have children, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, that's where they draw the line. You know what? I'm going to question the poll voters. Then that's where you lot drew the line at that particular point, clashing with the season. That was the final straw for everyone who voted for that poll. Just like so we're all on the same page here.
I think it was out of 7 votes. I think it was 3 for yes, make Alia the guardian, 4 for let's weigh on that.
Okay, so
it was either
at least
3 to 4 or 2 to 5. But yeah, it was majority was let's hold off on that.
Yeah. Much like I've been holding off on on season 6 until it comes out on Disney Plus. Because I mean, Aiden of course has suggested that I pursue alternative methods. But no, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that official Spanish dub, baby. I'm writing it out.
Oh, yeah, Bond said he meant canceling the rest of the episodes.
Yeah. That would be a drastic measure. And again, once we get to the wrap up, I'll definitely say a few things, not on that matter necessarily, but like related to it.
Yeah.
I forgot Thomas Ashbrook existed. Well, there was an episode entirely about Thomas Ashbrook being overlooked in universe. That's why I wouldn't question him like doing like a jaded fan episode, because he already had a self-insert. Anyway. Don't you remember Jessica? Also, there's like, don't you remember Jessica? That's like, there should be a comma there. I gave Alia a Kwagatama that has my whole memory. Wouldn't you have
that's
to constantly...
also is referencing Illustrator.
Wouldn't you have to constantly update that memory? So, oh wait, okay. Now, you know, fine. Another season prediction, I guess. If they do go through with her losing her memory, if she restores said memory, she's gonna forget all the events of season 6. Oh no, that's gonna be something. Imagine if that's the season where she finally learns Cat Noir's identity, and then she has to get that part. Now the pieces are coming together. Right. My whole memory as of course, the moment that I gave the Kwagatama, because I'm guessing that doesn't update automatically. Yeah.
She did say from the day Master Fu. She did mention it was gonna be from the day Master Fu appointed her guardian to the day she renounces her title. So maybe
how
it does
would she
update.
possibly? Yeah. Okay, that's a new power. All right. In that case, maybe the whole Cat Noir thing wouldn't happen. Okay, mechanically that wouldn't make sense in that situation, but dramatically, I could definitely see them trying to pull that, especially given how long that they've had the whole identity thing, you know, be an issue for the pair of them. Even if I renounce my title, I'll be able to access my memories. I'm just now imagining Alia going through like a montage of Marinette's memories and just being like, okay, right, no, this is this point. Okay, it's like core memories like from childhood. Okay, Adrian. Just like a whole. It's like, come on, girl, give me something useful here. Oh, there we go. All right, now we're talking. Nope, wait, more Adrian. Okay, this memory.
Oh my
god. As much as I make fun of like the romance drama stuff, like Marinette being down bad is always hilarious. Except for when she takes it too far. But most of the time it's just funny to me. Like that's I've said this before. I don't take the romance drama like in Miraculous seriously. I think that's like why I'm not as jaded about the show as most people are, because people are like really invest in that romance plot. You know, are like obviously Reg really want them to really wanted them to, you know, get together for as long as until they did, and then obviously the whole identity thing be like the final hurdle behind them. So yeah, people want that payoff. Absolutely, it was like the selling point of the show. For me, of course, it was, you know, it was just a case of like, okay, this girl's a disaster. Let's see how she fumbles a bunch of this stuff. Again, if I ever do a Miraculous like breakdown series, then I will absolutely elaborate on that matter. But yeah, for now, just wait for season 6. I think that to figure out the guard situation for like story frigid fantasy. I'm going to have our own guardian. But oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true. Maybe that you know, boss monk guy's name I've forgotten might come back into play.
Yeah,
you never know.
Again, I think it was Suhan or something.
Sounds about right.
Look it up.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Boss monk guy, miraculous. I'm sure there's another search term for it. Anyway. Okay. Hopefully didn't mess up any plans you had, Eurovision Pops. Well, about that. Mm-hmm. He made it so got you enough of my full attention. Ah, great. We've got less than a minute left of episode time. Well, now that you mention it, I was on a date with Thomas. Thomas? Astruc? No, not him, not him. Different Thomas. Thomas Roman, another one of the writers who also worked on Code Lyoko. No, also different Thomas. Prince Thomas. Ah. Right. Apparently it was Suhan. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is some good music, actually. I can see Disco Pops having like a track to this, actually. Anyway, hopefully Thomas wasn't mad at you for leaving the date. I was like, oh no, he was just confused why I sat on my hand as soon as it started, as my ring started ringing. You know, aside from that, he was, understanding about it. He had some rules to attend to. Maybe for Jazz Pops though. I don't know. I can definitely see some disco moves, going with this particular track. Like I can see this in like a roller rink of some kind, honestly. Like the one they have in Moon Gone Devil Dinosaur. Well, knowing Thomas like I do, he's very forgiving. Still, I better head back to Bay Riddle before he gets worried about me. Okay, have fun, satellites.
Okay, fair warning. I didn't really know what else to do, so I just ended it with Sofia telling.
Oh no, I can see the video timeline is about to end. Yeah, I wasn't expecting something. I was saying the date to renew now, but yeah. Okay. I can subscribe to episode 5. That almost rhymes. All right. So now I'll get to what I was going to say about, episode comparisons and such. It does seem like more often than not, it's episode 4 where a lot of shows, or even seasons of shows, like, kind of like fall off temporarily, I think. Like, I mean, you've got obviously episode 4 of Superstar Academy, which was atrocious compared to the, relatively solid first 3 episodes. You have in season 3 of My Street, particularly, was where actually no, wait, no, but that was actually a little bit later down the line. That was like episode 6. It was the episode 6 in My Street where something falls off. In Gacha, it tends to be episode 4, where people just like, oh, let's never mind, something like that. Just like something happens in the writing process. And now in this episode too, because again, Eurovision Pops has been. That was like started off with a very shocking beginning, but also a little bit like actually more like solid character work with like the remaining Pops, even with Talia before she died. Like still like she got like their attention. And we actually knew kind of what her deal was. That's why it was so surprising that she was like cut short so quickly.
Yeah.
And with Sofia kind of like taking up these particular arcs, it does make sense where again you can actually. For this, if the series continues, obviously you can pivot to the other characters later down the line once we've actually kind of potentially wrapped up this particular Tom Fia arc, and then potentially give someone else a turn, and then come back to her.
I was about to say episode 5. They're gonna be trapped in a haunted house. I will reveal that they were gonna be trapped in a haunted house. So this is gonna play into Dusana, who we know is very jumpy.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right,
but that's and also Bond. It says watch episode 5 to keep this alive. I haven't even started production on that.
No, he was trying to go on for like I said before with like the rhyme basically. Yeah. Although right into episode 5, I know. Yeah. Right to episode 5, I know you joked about this being cancelled. I was like, this is by no means, a deal breaker of an episode. It's just it's just not as good as the 3 that came before it. Because the date was definitely a case of I like cutting corners to some degree. I would argue, I would have if you had reservations on showing the date to that degree, I would have personally kept it to potentially maybe like 1, maybe 2 days if she happens to want to stay over for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so you can actually show like those events, or potentially again a montage, which you still could do in episode 5 if you wanted to, like, you know, just like have Sofia, you know, gush about what happens, but before and after this event, actually, because now we know that we're not gonna, So that on that visual again, definitely not beyond salvation. Another thing I see a lot in Gacha stuff. Normally, this is a mini movies problem, but it can happen in episodes too, where halfway through the plot kind of deviates and it sort of ruins the setup.
Yeah.
So in this case, the kumatization, like it wasn't like particularly strong. Although I will say this is the closest that you've gotten to a miraculous style combat sequence. Obviously, we could have done with more action in general, but aside from the fact that, and again, like story-wise, it relates to miraculous to actually have been called, given that that's what you're going with for this episode. Aside from like the whole talking out, we saw the Lucky Charm for the first time. We saw the actual Akuma. We saw her, you know, captured to some degree. It was kind of like a skip and back, but you know, it was still something. And and most of the time before that, we've only seen Ladybug just kind of show up, do like a typical superhero stuff. Like the formula for Ladybug combat, like they even talk about this in Simple Man, the episode. Like it is complex on purpose, and to some degree, obviously, like it's obviously. I'll say this: I do like when a show has a formula, because that also means that once they break the formula, the episodes they do that in tend to be stronger. If you're constantly breaking the formula, then there is no formula really, and so it doesn't have the same punch, basically. So that's why I'm not exactly jaded by that aspect of the show either, because I mean, crying out loud, I grew up in the early 2000s. Formulaic TV shows are my bread and butter for that same reason. So again, like it's a case of this episode could have been a lot worse, but it also could have been a lot better. It just doesn't stand as strong as the previous 3, but it's by no means by no means like on like any level comparable to Strike Back Sadness, and especially not to Childhood Memories. I mean, also again, one thing I would investigate into, like, production wise, again, is, look into camera angles, because that's probably like the next step for you that would probably be relatively easy to apply depending on editing software. Just like consider zooming in a couple of times. It just would mean that you wouldn't be able to use the speech bubbles. You have to go with the caption method, most likely. That'd be like the trade-off in that sense. But yeah, I think that's I think that's that's kind of it. It was nice to see the bits of Tomfia that we did. I mean, if it was the fact that was somewhat unsatisfying, and the next time, I'll say this, as far as like couple stuff in general, I've found that most people are not bored by that. I mean, even like the multiple like Arrow Ace people that were like in my social circle, absolutely, like so that you can get behind a romance plot even if they can't personally relate to it, because I mean, it's one of those classics. So no one's gonna be like dissatisfied if that takes up, especially an episode. If they click on a 14-minute video that has the title Sofia's First Date, they know what they're expecting. They know what they signed up for. They don't need to necessarily like have a pivot halfway through to keep their investment, I think. I haven't seen many good romance plot. Well, I mean, but they're there, exactly. So it can happen. I do Mulligan more winner. Thank you. I was going to use myself as an example, but yes, okay, all right then. And that's obviously like that's obviously like spread out across multiple seasons. I haven't done like Malcolm and Wenner, like entirely focused episode. Although I know for a fact if I did that, people would not be disappointed. I did that with Felix and Empress, actually. People like the Felix and Empress, relationship. I'll say that much. People were really like into, well, I say that people were really into those two. They were into those two as a couple, and also they crushed on the characters individually. So the people who didn't like, there was a couple like one of them separately. So it kind of like compensated. So things can happen. So I think that's basically it. So yeah, I'm off to go make some dinner and
Same.
hop on to turn on Disney Plus and watch Gang of Secrets because Destiny is pulling me in that direction, so might as well. As Matty says, Destiny is on my side now. So yeah, please leave a like or dislike because your opinion matters. So I've done so already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.
Bye.